Hi guys and girls on YouTube, and welcome to my channel. So in this video we're going to be looking at repairing this Samsung soundbar, but this video is not really about this soundbar. It's about the difficulties that we now face in this industry, especially when you're doing different things every day. And you've never seen something like this before. And I put a video on YouTube and people put in the comments, oh, you shouldn't have done that, you should have done this, and you've done it the wrong way. But the thing is, you know, years ago I was only repairing TVs and microwaves. I didn't do, and video recorders, I didn't do anything else because I just didn't have the time. I was so busy. But now I can be repairing a flat panel TV, and then a microwave, and then a record player, or a Kenwood mixer, or sometimes people bring Hoovers in. So I never actually see the same thing twice. And this is one of the difficulties we face with knowing how something operates before you try to repair it. So let's just take a quick look. This soundbar, it came in completely dead. Now it is plugged in. It's fastened to a power supply, which is 24 volts, 1.66 amp. I've tried that, that's okay. The guy didn't bring the remote control in, but there's buttons on the side to turn it off. Now this was completely dead. As you can see, it's still sitting there dead. Now I would have expected some sort of indication on this front, like an LED that should be lit or it isn't lit, that tells you this is actually on. And as you can see, there's nothing at all lit up, so it just appears, like the customer said, totally dead. So the first thing I do is I check the output from the power supply, 24 volt, that's absolutely fine. The next thing is, let's look inside here. I've already had the top off, I've spent ages looking at this already. As you can see, it's just a one-piece board. Under there will be, I presume, the class D. They will be the audio amplifier ICs. You've got a module there, one will be Wi-Fi, one will be Bluetooth. But as you can see, everything is just on one single board. Now with anything like this, there's no service manual available. If you do get the service manual, there's no diagrams in it, there's just block diagrams. This is just it's just a board only replacement thing. Now if I quoted a customer £108 plus fitting for this board, there's no way they'd have it done. So what I always try and do is try and look at something first and see if I can fix it before I get into putting new boards in. Now obviously with anything like this, there's very little that you can do. There's a fuse there, there's quite a few little regulators here. What you can't see, because I put this board back in, is when you take this out and flip it over, there's loads and loads of ICs on the back. There's about another 6 of these regulators. So really the only thing you can do, there's a crystal attached to a microprocessor, 24 megs I think it was, that's running. I check all the outputs from these buck regulators, flyback regulators. They're all what I would call industry outputs. So if you've got a 1.2, a 3.3, a 5, they all seem to be okay. So I'm really now just looking at replacing this board because I can't see anything wrong with it. Now don't forget, it was completely dead. After I'd looked at it for quite a while, what I realised is this chip here was actually a little bit warm. So it's not as dead as it looks, it's actually doing something, this. So then a friend of mine came in, he's actually in the trade, he's an engineer, and he asked about the soundbar, and I said, oh, it's probably a no Oprah. I said, I don't think the customer's going to have it done. I told him a story, it came in dead. And I mentioned this chip was warm, and he said, well, have you actually tried putting a signal into it? And I said, no, because it's completely dead. And he said, why don't you try putting a signal in? So I did. I put a signal in to this 3.5mm on the side here, and with no idea what input it's on, and I just kept pressing this external input, and after I pressed it a few times, then sound started coming out the soundbar, and you could turn it up and down with ease. So I'm thinking, I wonder now if there's nothing actually wrong with this. Perhaps it's an LED on the front that's gone off, and the customer doesn't know whether it's on or off, and that's why he thought it was dead. So then I have a look at the model and I get the instruction. I call up on the internet and find an instruction book for this model. It's HW-N650 XU. So that's the instruction book. Have a read through it. Now by this time I've already spent ages looking at this, testing things, and then I spot it on the instruction book there. 1 display. So we're not actually looking for an LED. There should be a display lit up on the front. Something I wasn't aware of at all. I thought we were just looking for an LED lit. And if you look at this, there's a ribbon cable, goes to this side where the buttons are, and the instruction book is indicating the display is on this side somewhere. So let's pop this out next. And there we go, just at the side there is a little display. And as soon as I see it's an OLED, I'm thinking that is what the problem is. This display is not working, because I've already had sound coming out of here, so I know the actual unit's working, but with no indication what it's doing, what input it's set to or anything. So let's just order up a brand new OLED display and see where we go from there. Right, so next day the new OLED display's arrived. It seems rather a large box for something that is only probably, I don't know, 1.5 inches square. Yeah, let's get it open and have a look in it. We get in there. Of course, it's one of these boxes that you can't use again for anything because we ripped it getting it open. Oh, what's that? I've never had that before, an Easter bunny. So there's your display, rattling around in this very large box with just one piece of paper doing absolutely nothing. Made in Vietnam. Right, so that's it. Now I don't really know whether these OLED displays are static or not, but I do have a wristband on just in case, so I'm just going to plug that in now. It looks like it sticks down onto something, but I'm just going to plug it in first and try it. Right, so that's just it does actually glue down onto this back plate. I've just plugged it in temporarily. Let's plug it in now. That's it. Look around here, which is the on and off button. Now that one there. Right, here we go. Press the button, and look at that, on. And that's what it was set to, AUX. I managed to get that on by just pressing the button. So that's your indication on the front. Now if I ever get one of these again, I'll know what it is, but the chances are I'll probably never see one of these again, and in a few weeks time, 2 or 3 months time, I'll have forgotten all about this and we'll be back to square one. Let's just see where the on and off button. Now it says buy when you switch it off, and then it goes completely blank like that. So there we go, guys and girls. That is one of the problems that I'm faced with. You hardly ever see the same thing twice, and without knowing how something actually operates in the beginning, you can waste an awful lot of time. It's different if you were doing these every day. If you're doing the same thing every day, like people specialise in mobile phones and that's all they do. But here, you know, people can be bringing all sorts of things in, from a Hoover to a microwave to a television to a mixer, all sorts of different things I get here. And that is one of the problems now, because you can't specialise in you can't specialise in TVs anymore, because you get that few in for repair. You've just got to take on whatever you can to try and make a living these days. You know, times have changed. So there we go, guys and girls. That's about it for this video. I am going to the Retro Tech in, is it the 11th on Sunday? So I will be off for a couple of days because we're stopping in a hotel the night before. And I'll catch you in the next video then. Alright, many thanks for watching. Goodbye.